Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. So I wanted to ask you, are you free? Now, most probably when they see that question, probably what comes to mind is talking about, your rights, your freedoms, political, along the political lines, along governments and countries and all that stuff, and thinking about. That's usually what first comes to mind when you hear the question, "Are you free?" But that's actually not what I'm referring to. So, um, what I'm referring to is like inside, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you live, no matter what, are you free or not? And so, to kind of clarify what I mean by that is like, do you basically, and I've kind of touched on this too, but basically, like your actions and all that's, is that determined by other people in some way? Either you're afraid of the way you're perceived, or you are afraid of how people will react, or you put other people's demands. Probably this is more along lines of work and stuff, but other people's demands first, no matter if you agree with them in terms of being right or not, or true to you or not. um, and like I said, I've kind of touched on this, but I definitely wanted just to come out and ask, are you free? Because like, I didn't really know freedom until I involved God and got to know God. Um, because no matter what you're doing, you're free. Okay. And I'll try to, I'm going to go into this if you don't understand what I'm saying right there. But no matter what you're doing, no matter what's going on out here, no matter your situation or circumstance, you're free. You're free from fear. You're free from worry. You're free from stress. You're free from putting really self baggage, or being in bondage, putting that on yourself, um, because of what our Lord has done for us. He has freed us. And so this is not a worldly way of thinking. This is not through the physical eyes, but it's really what is real. And you really have to involve God and really, read his word, talk to him, just talk to him, just have that relationship with him, because he will show you truth. And I've said this before, the truth will make you free. Okay. And it's because, again, I've mentioned, truth doesn't shake. So no matter what comes in from the outside, it doesn't shake. No matter what thoughts you may come up with in the moment that are negative or whatever, just focus on the truth and it will set you free. It doesn't shake. When you know that God is in control of everything, like nothing happens that he doesn't allow, and again, at least for a purpose, with an expected end that's good. And so if it's not in your benefit, he won't allow it or use it for your benefit. Okay? There's many things that are painful, like I've mentioned, that we see as bad. Like, why would God let this happen? Well, there's a purpose, and you probably don't see it while you're going through it, but once you go through it, then you'll see it. Okay? So that's why you have to trust in him. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. But I want to get back to free. So, like I just said, like I mentioned here at the beginning, I really didn't know what being free was until I really got to know God and involve God in my life. Because again, when you know that there's nothing out of his hands, He's all powerful. He's known everything since the beginning. You don't have to concern yourself with the schemes of men. You don't have to concern yourself with all the what ifs, the maybes, and worry about that stuff. Okay? Because you know God's got this. He's got your back. And if bad things do happen, you know that there's a purpose, and it will end up being good. You just have to go through it. You have to humble yourself to say, okay, what am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to get stronger in? What am I supposed to realize and be aware of? Because again, it's like I kind of mentioned that, your reality's in a box, and the only way to expand your awareness and lift that lid up is actually God does that for you. Because he is bigger than all this here on the world. Bigger than our understanding, bigger than everything. He is the Almighty, the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. He is the great I am that I am. So when you really, really know this, okay, not just believe it and hope for it, I'm talking about know this. And the only way to know this is to experience God by trying to walk this walk, trying to be love in the moment, trying to live in the moment and be love every moment, because love is God. It's all connected. But once you do that, then things happen. I'm telling, and you see things differently, and you notice things that you never noticed before, because God, he doesn't. It's kind of like I mentioned this before, especially in sports, when people are kind of celebrating like kind of ridiculously and act like you've been there before. Well, like I said, God's always been there before. He doesn't have an ego that he needs to show off. Okay. And so, he's really subtle, because love is gentle, love is kind, and he the way he works, it's kind of subtle in a way as far as what other people see. That's why it's hard to convey what God does in your life, but it's for you only. It's personal, and it will hit you. If there's something that stops you, grabs your attention, or hits you in a certain way, that was probably him. And it was for whatever purpose, whatever brought to your mind, whatever. Maybe it was just to let you make you lift you up, because maybe you're feeling down, and he's just like, I'm there. I know it's tough, but I'm here with you to go through this. Like, just to remind you of stuff like that and encourage you, and things like that. They do happen. Okay, it is real. But again, if you're not desiring God, then you won't see it, because God gives us what we desire. So if you're out there and you're waiting for God just to show up in the sky and announce himself, well, it's going to happen at some point. The Lord will. And I don't want to say it's too late, because I don't want to limit God, but that's a pretty late chapter in the game. Late. That's like a 2-minute warning, okay, in the game. So anyways, I wanted to get back to really freedom, because it's hard to convey. But when you know that, it's almost like I've kind of mentioned, I don't really like this comparison because it's better than this, but it's like having a superhero that has your back all the time. And I've experienced things that should not happen. Like, it should not have those results. And I've talked about some on here. Like, the improbable becomes like almost routine. I wouldn't say like routine. Well, I mean, very often. Okay, let me put it that way. And because God's above all this stuff. God's outside of time, outside of the physical, what we see. And that's why if you feed your ego and you think you know it already, you stop looking for truth because you think you already have it. And then what you do is you cut yourself off from basically being able to grow. It's like you're in that box and you're like, I'm not jumping out of this box. There's nothing else but this box. And you're really missing out. Okay? You're really missing out. But as far as getting back to, are you free? I'm not talking about being able to drive wherever you want to drive or, buy whatever you want to buy. I'm talking about you free from, basically, like I said, fear, stress, worry, doubt, and because the truth will make you free. And when you know truth, okay, which is God is truth, truth is God, it's all connected, then you don't fall for all this BS. You don't get confused. You don't live in that gray area I've talked about, because that's where confusion happens. And the enemy uses it to deceive us, to make us feel bad about ourselves, to lead us on the wrong path, to tell you that you can't do it, to tell you that that's impossible because it's too amazing and good to be true. Like almost that, like to try to keep you in that box. And if you think about, like I said, things are only black and white. Like it's either love or not love. It's either truth or not truth. And it's, either light or it's darkness. But when you think about it, like even the term the gray area has darkness in it. It's not pure light. Does that make sense? There's light mixed with darkness. That's why it's called a gray area. But the problem is once darkness can get in that door, the rulers of darkness, the enemy, will keep on that and try to get you in a darker place. And so that's why you have to always trust in God. You have to involve God in your life. Just talk to him throughout the day, like I've talked about that before. He's always there. He already knows what's going on. You don't need to give him an up-to-date. It's like, how we talk to each other. It's like we do go through this process. Hello, how you been? How you doing? What's new? And then you try to try to update the person on what's going on so they can understand what you want to talk about. Like you don't have to do any of that because he already knows. He's known before you were born. He's known since the beginning. So it's amazing. It's beyond great because it's the bestest friend who knows exactly. Like there's nothing lost in translation or discussion because there's things that are hard to convey, but he knows it already. So trust in him, and it's almost like, for lack of better wording, it's almost like walking. It's kind of like walking just one step at a time, not concerned with the destination because the Lord's got it, not concerned with any roadblocks in front of you because he's got that. Okay, he will open the way, open the doors if you desire it. And I almost picture like this ignorant guy just kind of walking down, like almost this is an old cartoon. Okay, it was old when I was a kid, but Mr. Magoo, like he couldn't see what was going on, but he just happened to walk, and there'd be things going on around him that he's not even concerned about. That looks like a I-beam going to fall down on him, but something happens and he doesn't stop it, but he just keeps on walking. But it doesn't get him. It doesn't fall on him. It doesn't hit him. It doesn't hurt him. It doesn't affect him. It's almost like that, okay? And it's real. But you can only know it when you experience it. So I'm trying to convey how it is on something that's very hard to convey if you've never experienced it. But give God a shot. Like if you desire, if what I described, no stress, no worry, all that stuff appeals to you. Like if you wish it can be like that, and if you haven't experienced it, you may be thinking, "Oh, it's just too good to be true." It's not. It's not. That's not the way it is. That is the way it is if you really desire it. But when you say it can't happen, it won't happen. Okay? If you don't desire it, it won't happen. And like I've said, if you desire something, you will be it. So you try to be love every moment. But I wanted to definitely ask this question and make you, really, are you really free? I'm not talking about the outside. I'm talking about the inside. Are you free to be true and authentic of what's in here and shining that light out here? Or is there something holding you back, or you just don't think you can do it? You can. You're more precious than what this world tells you you are. The Lord Almighty created you. You are a child of God. Okay? That's above all this BS that's in this world, that the snares of this world I've talked about. So don't get snared. But please comment below, questions, comments, thoughts, anything like that. And of course, if you like the video, please thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Ring-a-ding-a-ling that bell for notifications for when I upload videos. And as always, stay strong and God bless.